They're all coming.
What colour is it?
Orange. Orange.
Orange beer.
That is beer. That is bee.
G'day, another brew day again. Today's brew is Killer Cream Ale. It's a recipe from Jared. People might know Jared from Heavy Riff Brewing Company. He's just started his own brewery and bar, and I'll show you some details of that now. But yeah, he submitted this recipe for us to have a go on the Cellar Dweller forums. One of my other friends, good friends, Ozale, has brewed it and said it was sensational, and Jared himself, of course, says it's sensational. So I thought I'd better try it. Switch my grain. It was supposed to be 6-row. I couldn't actually get 6-row. So I used some Pilsner malt. I chucked in a little bit of ale malt. It's supposed to be Vienna. I couldn't actually get Vienna. The shop was sold out of Vienna, so there's a little bit of Munich malt in there, and there's a little bit of Crystal 10. I used Carahel for that. I just like the name of that. And corn, flaked corn or maize. You could probably use flake rice or something like that as well. I've never used this before, that's why I just got it in a separate bag. It goes into the mash like everything else, but I just wanted to have a look at it. So anyway, I'm going to mash in. My water's up to temp. If you want to see the full process of how I do it, there's already a video on that. I'll put the link up now for my Black Metal IPA. The brewing process will be the same as this. Of course, the recipe's different. I'll put a link to the recipe. There'll be Jared's original recipe. There'll be Oz's version, what he done, Oz, my mate, and there'll be my version. There'll be two versions of mine. One that I wanted to do, that I got ready to do, but the shop didn't have the grain, so I had to change it. So I'll put in. There'll be 4 different versions of the recipe there. But you'll all end up with virtually the same beer. All right, I'm going to mash in.
Okay, there's the mashed in. You can see the corn in there. Good enough to eat. Alright, better shut this up and keep it warm, eh? Mashing at around 67.7, around there, for an hour. Mash is finished. Just got to add 7 litres for mash out. That's the mash out water added. Just give it a bit of stir to get the temperature around, so the hot water doesn't just sit on top. Put the lid on, leave that for another 10 minutes. I'm just about to take the first runnings, or Vorloff, however you want to say it, or recirculate some wort just to clear it. I was on a forum or a Facebook page somewhere last week, and people were saying, someone was saying that they take their runnings really slow, which is a good idea, but it was taking many litres for it to get clear. Now at the start, when you take your first runnings, what you're really trying to do is clear any junk that's gone into your manifold in your mash tun. So there's nothing really wrong with turning up a bit quick at the start. I go nearly halfway, sometimes even more, just to get it flowing and get that first junk out. I don't open right up, but most of the way, I don't know if you can see that. That's a fair flow. And then I'll back it off. I'll pick this up in a second and show you. I don't know if you can pick that up, but that's got a fair amount of junk in it. It's very cloudy. And we'll recirc that. We'll take some more. Another grain in there.
I don't open up full again. There's nothing wrong with getting it going fast at the start. There's still a little bit of junk coming through, not much. Not much at all. I'm just going to back that off a bit now. Pour that back in. There's a lot less junk in that. It's a little bit cloudy. We'll take the third lot. Just slow this time. I can't see any junk going into that at the moment. I'll get you a bit closer. Like I said, there's no junk coming through. It's nice and clear. This will probably be the last one I'll do. So that's the third jug. That's looking nice. That's as probably clear as I'll get it. That's enough. So that was 3 jugs. That's about just over a litre in each of those I took. And that's enough. Now I'll take the runnings. So now I'll switch over to the bucket. Just slow. That's about as fast as I need it. It takes a little bit of time. That's nice and clear, there's no bits. That's fine. So the first running's done. Just got to add in the batch sparge water now, which is 16 litres. You can see the corn. There's a sample pre-boil. It's nice and light, it's supposed to be. It's actually a little bit darker because I had to use Munich instead of Vienna. I couldn't quite get the malt I wanted, but it's looking good. Just waiting for the boil to come up. I've measured my hops out. I got 40 grams at 60 minutes and 25 grams at 20 minutes. That might seem a lot for a cream ale, but it's a very low alpha acid hop. And if you know anything about hop aging, because this is over a year old, these are actually, and they've been kept stored correctly, but they'll be down to about 3%. Maybe a tiny bit lower, maybe 2.93%. That's why I need so much. There's a 40 in. Smells good. Time for the 20-minute edition. 25 grams. There's the alarm. That's the last hop edition. I'll put in the Werflock in 10 minutes time, and that'll be with 10 minutes left of the boil. Well, that's 10 minutes left. I'm going to stick in Irish moss, same as Werflock. Stick the whole tablet in. You can crush them if you like. I find they dissolve fine. Alright, that's the end of the boil. Plug everything. Give it a whirlpool. Got it going, I think. Put the lid on. Leave it for 5 to 10 minutes and start chilling. Again, you can see the benefits of whirlpooling. It really does work. I'll end up getting 24 litres. I've got a yeast starter there. I started this 2 days ago. Simply 100 grams of light dry malt and a litre of water. Boiled it up, cooled it down, pitch yeast. Besides that, I'm going to take my temperature control probe that I was monitoring the yeast with and start monitoring the beer because it's a little bit hot, especially here in summer. My chiller isn't totally effective, but that'll be down within the matter of hours. I should have used probably should have used a pre-chiller on my chiller, but I didn't have the time to set it up today. But I will for the next brew because the weather here is just going to be hotter. That's another brew day finished. It's always exciting when you're brewing something you haven't brewed before. Well, excited to wait to taste it anyway. So there's nothing much out of the normal, but I just wanted to, I can't remember who asked the question. I must have been maybe on the Home Brew Network or something like that, about the runnings. Yeah, so when you take your runnings, it's fine to go fast at the start. There's nothing wrong with that. Clears all the gunk out. Then you back it off and take off a couple of litres. You shouldn't need much more. It depends on your brew, of course, and your grain and your crush. But if you're getting a good crush and you have a good manifold, you shouldn't have any problems. And a little bit of cloudiness in the beer is always going to be there. You're going to be hard pressed to get it crystal clear just from your runnings. That's why you use Werflock, that's why you use Irish moss. That's why you boil, then you ferment, then you crash chill. That'll all get rid of the stuff anyway. As long as you don't have bits of grain in it. You don't want bits of grain in your boil. Releases tannins and can add to off flavours, even though 1 or 2 is probably not going to make a difference, but you know, best to be safe, isn't it? Alright, cheers. I'm going to have a beer.